edition, wow, of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and tablets with us, Geeks on Tour. Our beginner's lesson today is how about a $59 smartphone? But first, a quick tip from Chris.
Oh, that's a little messed up, isn't it? All right, well, the tip is it's about Google Photos. And Google Photos is meant to upload all your pictures to the web online, and it's called backing up. So how do you know if your photos have all gotten backed up? It's slightly different, unfortunately, on the Android and the iPhone. So I want to show you what to look for. And here we go. So first, I'm going to show you on my Samsung phone. No, I don't want to turn off mobile hotspot. If I do, we lose the show. All right, and I go to Google Photos. And on the Android, it will show up at the top of your library. See where it says backup complete there. But if you scroll down, that goes away. So the 2 points to see if backup is complete. Number one, you must be on Photos, your photo library, as opposed to Albums or Assistant. You must be on Photos. And number two, it's all the way at the top. And if you pull down, the words backup complete appear. But if you just see a cloud with a check mark, you're good. And if you take a picture, you will see a 1 or a 2 or the number of photos that need to be backed up right there. So it's at the top of your library. On the iPhone, it's a little different. Google Photos, and get back to my main library. On the iPhone, you do go to the Assistant, and that's where you will see the message backup complete. Also on the iPhone, if there are any photos that have not been backed up, you'll see a little circular arrow right on the photo. I think that's awfully nice. All right, so that's the quick tip, just how to do a backup, how to see backup complete. But I also wanted, since that was such a quick tip, I have something else I want to do, and that is do a photo edit. So we've been taking lots of photos. We are in the RV on the road, and I like to just snap a picture out the window. On the left is what my camera captured, but on the right is the picture I wanted, and it just takes a couple of clicks in Google Photos to make that difference. Let me show you how. What?
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, let me show you how.
Oh, so here's the photo, and I'm just using Google Photos on the computer, but it works exactly the same on the phone. You have the same options. This is the edit button. I click that. And the first thing I want to do is crop. I don't want that nasty wall in the foreground. So the cropping tool is that one. And I'll just drag a corner up until I have the picture outlined that I want. And maybe it's a little crooked. There's no straight lines in this picture to check it against, but I think that makes the horizon a little straighter. So I'm done with the crop and rotate. Now I want to adjust the colors a little bit. I always try auto, and that does the colors pretty good, but I also wanted a little bit of pop. So I'm going to go into the adjustments. I'm going to drag the pop over, and I'm done. There is the picture I wanted, as opposed to the picture I took.
Very cool. Wow. Okay. Now we're on us. That looks better. Hi, I'm Jim, and here together with my wife, Chris, and our van, we are Geeks on Tour. Do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks who teach, and we think the best way to learn is a little bit at a time on a regular basis. So that's why we have this weekly class. We do it live. So we are live right now. You never know what's going to happen.
Folks who are there with us, go ahead and put any questions in the comments if you have any.
And after it's recorded, though, I write up show notes, and we post the recorded version with the show notes on Wednesdays. We encourage you to take a look at that. The show notes are for members only, and we are now starting on Thursday to have a Q&A on a Facebook Live session. So,
so if you'd like to join us for that, stay tuned.
Our website is geeksontour.com, and all of our content is collected there.
So, Chris, where are we now?
We're in Missouri, near Branson, and there are some fall colors starting to show.
It's getting pretty out there, that's for sure.
It's getting real pretty.
Nice shot.
We spent last week at the Work Campers Rendezvous in Heber Springs, Arkansas, and we are on our way to the Computer Club in Quad Cities, Illinois, but we'll make a stop in Kansas City first.
Yeah,
so we are on the road.
Yep. So today's show is about a $59 smartphone. Inexpensive phones. What are they missing? And if you have questions during the show here, go ahead and put them in the comments. By Wednesday afternoon, this episode should be posted at thebuttonshow.com, and you can also leave comments there. We do invite you to become a member. As a member, you get all kinds of benefits, not the least of which is the show notes for these weekly classes. But you get all kinds of stuff, and we'll talk about that later. See our website, geeksontour.com, and click on the weekly class menu and scroll down to see the archives.
So how about a $59 smartphone? Is it actually possible? Yeah.
We bought one.
I kind of like it.
Just to see.
What motivated me to do this? I mean, we teach about smartphones, and we do like to have the best and the brightest, and we can afford it, and it's a business expense, and so that's what we get. But I know people who are living on their Social Security, and do they need to spend $900 for a phone? No. But should they do without? No, there really are inexpensive phones right now. Where can you buy a phone for less than $150? You'll be surprised. Just Google for smartphones under $150, and you'll find them all over the place. So I wanted to know, are they really useful? Do they work? So I went to Walmart and bought one.
Okay.
The only way to know something is to try
it out. Right?
So, and I like Walmart because being RVers,
they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. We're at Walmart's a lot, but you can also get them at eBay, Amazon, Best Buy. It's not just the phone, though. It's the service. I want 4G. And sometimes if you read this fine print of some of these inexpensive phones, you might see that they are not capable of doing 4G. So you need to get the phone with the right service, and you need to know what service you need. So once again, as RVers, we know that Verizon has the best coverage in the country. So I wanted Verizon, and I can do that with the Walmart Straight Talk. The Android on Straight Talk is using the Verizon network.
That's what we found out.
The iPhone on Straight Talk is using AT&T. Other popular inexpensive plans for inexpensive phones are Cricket, and that is owned by AT&T, so it is on the AT&T network. If you know that AT&T works well for you, you're good. Boost Mobile is another one. A lot of phones that I saw at Target are on the Boost Mobile, and that is on Sprint. So be careful.
Yeah.
If it works, if Sprint works where you are, great. It has some of the best deals, but nationwide, not so much.
Right. Same thing with T-Mobile.
So what I got, we went to Walmart in Alabama, just wherever we happened to be when I decided to do it, and it happened to be Alabama. And I paid $59.99 for an LG Rebel 2. But notice there that it is 4G LTE and Android 6.0. That's really quite impressive. I mean, my Samsung Galaxy S5 isn't going higher than Android 6. Your best and brightest Google phone is on 7. But 6 is great, and 4G LTE.
Why is that so important? There's a question here.
Why is 4G LTE? Because it's faster. And I mean, if all you do is email
and some casual
photos,
browsing, and
and a little bit of web browsing, you could get by even on the 2G because you can wait. But if you want to watch any YouTube videos, if you want to not be frustrated when you're going to a website, I can't handle it when my service hits the max and goes down to 2G. It's as if it's not working at all. So yeah, it's like a car, having a tricycle rather than a motorbike.
Okay, so how about a $59 smartphone?
So the obvious pro is that it's cheap. I mean, 59 can be divided into 900, 13 times?
Where's my calculator?
So even if if it totally breaks on you, you can buy another one many times over before you justify the high price of another one. The prepaid service, I think, is also pretty cool. There's no overage charges. It just stops working. And most of the plans today don't actually stop working. They just go down to that 2G speed. You can use it as a second phone. I mean, that's one of the things I'm doing. I have this new cheap phone now, and it does work pretty good. So if I were to go out on a boat ride, I might take my cheap phone with me rather than risk losing or destroying my fancy expensive phone.
Good point.
Or when the grandkids come to visit and they want to play with some technology, give them the cheap phone. And you know that they're not going to run into overage charges because it's a prepaid plan that just gives you a certain number of gigabytes. And when it's done, it's done. You have to go buy another plan. The cons for the one that I got, is only 8 gigabytes.
That's not enough.
That is not enough. There were plenty of them, though, that were 16 gigabytes and even 32. Some of them also are missing some camera features. So, for example, the one I got cannot do panoramas.
Right, and that surprised us. But you can get apps for that.
There's a way around it, and I'll show you that. What else?
Chrome crashes occasionally.
And it does. And well, it's a cheap phone.
Right, and it has to do with the memory and the processor and performance and all kinds of stuff. There's who knows why sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cheap phone. I would expect it to have some problems, but so far, now I've only used it a week.
Right.
And so I might come back on a repeat episode here in a month or two and give you my experiences over time. But so far in this week, I actually like it. It does have a bit of a shorter battery life, but it lasts all day in normal usage.
At least when it's new.
Yeah. But it has a removable battery.
Yeah.
It also has an SD card slot.
Yeah,
So
Bill just asked that question.
yeah, so this is the phone. I can just take the back off. There's the battery, and there's the slot where the SIM card is, the subscriber identification module that makes it a straight talk phone. But there's also a space there. I haven't put it in
For a micro SD
for
card.
an SD card. From experience, though, we have found that the SD card doesn't help very much when it comes to having room for apps.
Right. It's fine for storing photos and maybe some data, but it really doesn't work. It doesn't work the way we thought it would when you say you move your apps to the SD card. It really doesn't.
It helps a little bit, but just not much.
Right.
But the removable battery is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, you can get a new battery.
Now, I did have other choices. When I went to Walmart, their phone department, they recommended the Samsung J3, which I think was 16 gigabytes, and it was $79. You know, $20 for
Double the memory.
double the memory. But I already have a Samsung, and as long as I was at it, I wanted to get a phone that helped me learn about other things, like the LG. The on button is in the back, which is very different from what I'm used to, so I don't want to see it. But it's a nice size. It's a nice screen. It feels good. And the camera is a 5 megapixel. Both the rear camera and the front camera are 5 megapixels. So it's a nice little phone for $59. And then I paid $45 for 10 gigabytes of high speed. This slide here just shows why 8 gigabytes is not enough. I wanted to install just one other little app, and it says, nope, can't do it.
Not enough room.
It very much helps you, though. It pops up with this message saying, I can't install that app. You need to free up some space. Here are some apps that you can tell me to uninstall to make room. So you just check the apps to uninstall and make room. And another thing that this phone does not have, this little message popped up when I wanted to try to do a panorama. And it says, your phone does not have a compass or a gyroscope. I'll bet you didn't know that your phone had a gyroscope, did you?
An accelerometer.
But apparently it is one of the sensors that is necessary in order to capture an automatic panorama. So it can't do that. However, I searched online and I found another app called Panorama 360, and it works pretty good. Now I have to manually kind of overlap the scenes, but it helps me do that, you know, with the little outlines right on the screen, and then it automatically stitches them all together at the end, and it's still a great panorama. Cool. So I just had to get another app. And a surprising thing, this little cheap LG phone has some features in the camera that my $950 iPhone does not have. Like 16:9 aspect ratio. I love that.
Oh, that's right. You really hate.
You'll see this later. I hate how my iPhone takes what I consider squashed pictures, and I have some examples of that you'll see. So this one has the option to take the 16:9. It also has the option to voice control the camera. I can just say cheese or smile or whiskey.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. You don't want to be doing this in a bar. The other one is shoot, because you don't want to do that when they're in a concealed
when you're in a concealed carry state. Saying shoot in a crowded room might
come on, shoot.
Okay. So photo comparisons. I went out this morning and took 3 photos, took the same photo with both the iPhone and the LG. And which ones do you think Yes, the iPhone's camera is a better camera, but is it $900 better?
Hard to tell.
No. In fact, of these two pictures, the very first one and the next one, I kind of like the first one better. What do you think?
Well, it's brighter in this case, I think.
It's brighter and it's bigger. The first one is with the LG, the second one is the iPhone. And then the pumpkin, the first one is with the iPhone. And here, let me show you the real pictures. And I can prove to you which camera took which pictures.
A quick question. Does your iPhone or your new phone have an actual home button, or is it an on-screen button?
It's an on-screen one.
It's a soft
yes,
button.
It's etched on the screen. And it doesn't always appear either, which freaked me out at first. But it's always there. All right, so this photo, I can tap on the little eye. Oh, I already have. It tells you right here, this was taken with the LG, and it's a 3.7 megapixel picture. But it's beautiful.
It's a fine picture.
You know, there's just no problem with it. Here's the one taken with the iPhone. And I can crop this to 16:9 and I can brighten it up, and it will end up being a better picture since it is 12.2. But the LG's camera is just fine. This one was taken with the iPhone, and this one with the LG.
Not much difference.
No. And this one was taken through our rainy window this morning. This one with the iPhone.
I kind of like that.
Yeah. But I kind of like this one better, the LG. So in any case, yes, the iPhone is a better camera. But once again, is it $900 better? I don't think so. All right. I did that wrong. Okay, back to here. And I think I'm ready for a demo. Just a couple words about setting it up. Yeah, when you go to Walmart and you buy a phone, you just get it in a box.
Mm-hmm.
And inside the box, you get a little quick start, and it tells you to activate the phone number. When you first turn on the brand new phone, it will connect to a Wi-Fi. So you need to have a Wi-Fi. And then you can go to the website and enter in this serial number, and it will activate the phone. And you can choose your phone number too. Like, we bought this in Alabama, but I was able to choose a South Florida area code number. But I don't care, because I am not going to use that phone number. I use my Google Voice number, and I just wrote an article about that. If you're interested, I'll tell you a little bit about Google Voice. And then you pay $45 for the plan, and you just get this card. It was a scratch off, which I thought was kind of tricky.
I thought she was playing the lottery. I didn't know what was going on there.
And it gives you these numbers to enter in at a particular place on the phone, and it tells you where, and that loads it with 10 gigabytes of data. That will run out whichever comes first. You use the 10 gigabytes or a month passes. So there's no rollover or anything like that.
At least not yet.
Yeah, I don't know. So, but 10 gigabytes for $45, that's not bad, I think.
Somebody else has said that finding a case for some of these phones can be a problem.
Yeah, well,
we didn't look for this one, did you?
I have not yet looked. Seems like a pretty standard size.
Yeah, but it has the hole in the back and that kind of stuff.
Ah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. But I kind of like it. It feels so much sexier when it's naked. And it only costs $59. You know, if it breaks, get another one. Anyway, you're right. I have not gotten a case for it yet, and that could be a problem. So, phone number. I don't care what phone number it has, because I am not going to use it. I'm going to use my Google Voice number, and I will assign the Google Voice number to ring on this phone. Email, no problem. As soon as I tell this phone my Google account, all my Gmail is there. Google Photos, same thing. As soon as I tell it my Google account, all my photos are there. And a cool thing, I mean, here's my old Android phone, my Samsung. Here's my new LG. There is now a setting in Google called Set Up Near Device. I went to my old phone, settings, Google, Set Up Near Device. It could see this device, and boom, everything on this phone was now on this phone. Almost freaky.
Yeah, it was handy though.
Of course, then I had to go and delete all sorts of
because
stuff
you didn't have as much memory.
Okay. So what am I going to demo? I'm going to just show you what I mean by Google Voice. I'm going to show you that the email is there. I want to show you that I can make this little LG phone into a hotspot by going into my settings. I want to show you that Google Maps works, that the camera works, that all my photos are there, and that YouTube works. How am I doing on time? Okay. I think I'm good.
Yeah, so, I think you're great. But this is a family show.
All right, so there it is. Let me get that on the screen. There. All right, so this is it. This is the LG $59 phone. And yes, that question earlier, there is the home button. There is the multitasking button. And there is the back button. And sometimes they're not there. Let's go into anything else. And I still see them.
It's going to make a liar out of you, whatever you do.
It'll go away sometime. When they disappear, you swipe up from the bottom and they reappear. Okay.
That's a good tip.
So the things I wanted to demo, phone. So in green, there is the phone app that came with the phone, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use this blue one that I did have to download. That is the Google Voice. This is the Google phone app, and I can make phone calls. And the thing is, when I make a phone call using this, it's going to show up on your phone from my Google Voice number, not from this LG number. And I can also send text messages using my Google Voice app. And why do I do that? Because I have 3 phones. I am not going to give everybody 3 different phone numbers. So I want one phone number, and through the magic of Google Voice, and it's free, it will ring on all 3 phones. And I can use any phone to make a call, and it will be from my Google Voice number.
At least that's how it worked for us.
Yeah. Yeah, Google Voice can get complicated, but it is a great way to go. Email. Once again, the email app that came pre-installed, and I cannot uninstall it, is this one right here. But I don't want to use that. If I install Gmail and I've told the phone in the settings what my Google account is, then that's all I have to do. And I have the exact same inbox on this phone as I do on my Samsung phone, as I do on my iPhone. Okay, so that's email. Now, settings. This is an Android phone. So it works pretty much like any Android phone. Here's the app for the panorama. I can drag that to my first screen. You know, if I want it available on my first screen. And here's my account with my Straight Talk if I want to check and see how much data I've used. So all that works the same. Settings. I can reach settings the same way as I do on my other Android phones by swiping down from the top, and there's the little gear. And all the same settings here. So if I do need to know the phone number for this phone, under About Phone, it should be here. And there's the type of phone, and the
status is where the phone number is.
Status, yeah, that's where the phone number and back, just like other.
So everybody call Chris on this phone and see how it sounds.
And software info. Yeah, there's the Android version 6.0.1, which is the same as what I have on my Samsung.
Yeah, mine's only just one step. Well, I'm on 7.
Yeah. Now, hotspot. And I understand that this didn't always used to be possible, but this phone, I can go into tethering and turn on Wi-Fi hotspot and turn on. And now, if we look at the computer, down in this is a Windows 10 computer. In my Wi-Fi settings, we should now see an LG, Mrs. Geek LG. So, it also occurs to me, if people just need a Wi-Fi hotspot for a month, $59 phone, $45 plan.
It might be a good
Yeah.
choice. Wow.
Yeah,
Good thought.
that just occurred to me in going through this.
Something new every day.
Yeah. All right. And what else do I want to show you? Google Maps. Google Maps works just fine, meaning there is a GPS in this phone. So I can tell it where from here we are going to Kansas City, Missouri. And I want it to navigate. Tap directions and start. And I'm navigating. And that was pretty fast.
It's working pretty well right here. Yeah.
Yeah, it is on a Verizon signal. All right.
Cool.
So that's Google Maps. Now, camera. So here's the camera. And just to point out a couple things while it's under the screen here is there are more settings. There's the 16:9.
It's a little
hard
dark.
to see, yeah. Yeah, really hard to see. Maybe. Well, there are several settings here. I can choose. It thought I said shoot.
Click.
All right. Let me just take. And a really cool thing in selfie mode, I don't even have to tell it.
Oh, right. This is something I was amazed at.
I just hold it up and it says to take a selfie, hold still.
And it took the
and
picture.
it took a selfie. Just, it understands if it's looking at you, you might be taking a selfie, and it might be difficult to reach your hand up and then let me take a regular picture as well. Oh, what? Of you. You're my favorite subject. Okay. Just so we can see what those look like. And here is where the home button has disappeared. All right. So I'm just on the camera. It takes all the available screen space for the camera. But if I swipe up from the bottom, the home button appears. So I told you that there was no panorama setting in the camera. There just isn't. But I found this app called Panorama 360. And it's free, so it has these ads. I tell it I want to take a picture, and I want to take it with the camera. And it tells me, press to start. Now, you're not going to be able to see me take a panorama under here, but what it does is it then says overlap, and it gives me these frames, and it makes it very easy to overlap one frame with another. And I just take as many frames as it takes to capture the whole picture. And when I then tap done, it stitches them together. So the camera that came with it didn't have that feature. but I got it. And now another thing to show you is Google Photos. I want that on every phone I have, and there it is. And it works just fine on here.
Now, did that come with Google Photos or did you have to install it?
You know, I actually don't remember now. I don't think it came with it. I think I had to install it. But actually, it came over from my...
Oh, right. Yeah. When you did that.
And
import.
notice here it says waiting for Wi-Fi. There are 4 pictures waiting to back up. So that's, remember from my first quick tip, I now have 4 pictures that are not backed up. It doesn't say backup complete up there. But there are the pictures that I just took. And they're not bad. Even the selfie camera is the same megapixels as the rear camera. But since this is Google Photos, I can pinch the screen and I can see an entire year at a glance divided month by month. I can even scroll all the way back to when we were married and show you wedding pictures.
98, sweetie.
Right. Very good. And I like doing this because it's just fun to show that we wear these silly little hats even all the way back then. But you understand what we're looking at here. These pictures are not on this phone. But through the magic of Google Photos, I have my entire lifetime available to me on this brand new phone that I just bought.
Cool.
And the last thing is just to go to YouTube, just to show you that it does work. You can play videos on this little $59 phone. You can even play this live video that we're doing right now. And lucky people who kept their old Disney. All right. That's all. Just wanted to prove that YouTube does work.
I like it.
And
pretty much everything works.
Yeah. Oops. It keeps working whether you want it to or not. All right.
All right.
There we go.
Good job.
And that's it for my demo.
You sure?
Yep.
What's on there? Okay. Questions. Let's see. We have a couple there. It'll be interesting to try the Bluetooth phone. Yeah, the settings there, and see if it sounds as good as either my Pixel or your iPhone on the Bluetooth. And we haven't tried that.
I don't think I have tried that yet. Yeah, trying the Bluetooth. Good point. I expect it to work.
Yeah, I do too. I just don't know about the quality, so that's what we'll have to look at.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we do invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and search for Geeks on Tour, and you will find us. And while you're on the computer, go ahead and like us on Facebook. Again, facebook.com/geeksontour. All right.
Oh, there was one more thing I wanted to demo.
Oh, of course.
And that was in Google Photos that you can make a movie. That surprised me. So yes, I need to show this.
All right.
I'll be quick.
Yeah, sure.
We're in Google Photos, and Google Photos has this cool little feature that you can select some video clips and pictures and it will make a movie. But it does not work on all phones. It definitely does not work on all tablets.
A lot of tablets won't do movies.
And on this cheap little phone, I did not expect it to work. So I was very surprised when it did. Step 1, select. Long press on something, and that is a video clip, and it mistakenly got some more. And I want that picture and that picture and that one. And let's see if I can find another little video. And all right, good. I have 6 selected pieces. I tap the plus and ask Google Photos, take those 6 pieces and make a movie out of them.
This is so much fun.
Yeah.
One of my favorite pieces to Google Photos on a mobile device.
And that's it. It's done. It'll start playing momentarily. It has to both put them up in the cloud, work on them, and bring it back down to finish the process. I never have quite figured that out, but it just works.
It's moving along.
Give it a little bit of time.
All right.
And it will play music. There we go.
There we go.
Oh, that's the...
And you can edit it. You can change the music. You can do all sorts of things. That's pretty cool.
All right. Yes, I would definitely do some fixing up of that, but just wanted to show you that it does work. If a phone cannot do that, it doesn't even show up in the list.
Right.
All right. So, had to do that. There we go. Now it's your turn.
Okay, the app of the week. This is an app that we spotlighted, a while ago. It's called All Stays Camp and RV. The app has been removed from the Google Play Store. Now what do? It's still available on the Apple, and if you have it, it'll still work on your Android. And we had a little discussion earlier on whether or not that data is the same on the Android as the iPhone. We're not sure about the data. I think that the data is probably still going to be updated on the Android app, or when you're looking at it on the Android app.
I really don't know. I assumed that it would not be updated, but
right,
maybe.
Yeah. So, what happens when your favorite app or one of your favorite apps gets taken away?
This is my favorite app. Well, I mean, other than Google Photos and Google Maps.
Yeah.
This is my favorite RVing app.
Right. So now we have to start searching around, and we've already looked at a lot of different apps ourselves for finding places to camp. We found a really pretty cool one, Wiki Camps. A lot of people like RV Parky. Google Maps, I still think if you only have one, Google Maps is going to be the thing that finds most of the stuff for you. RV Trip Wizard's another one. And a lot of people like Our Village, RVers anyway, because it uses All Stays for its maps too. So
we'd like to hear from anybody out there. Do you know about All Stays Camp and RV, and do you use something else? And the one example that I always use is Elks Lodges.
Mm-hmm.
Elks Lodges allow members, some of them,
not all,
allow members to park their RV there, and some of them have hookups for RVs, and that information was in All Stays. Now I can use Google Maps and search for Elks Lodges nearby, but
you're
Google
not sure
Maps
if they have
doesn't know
if
they're ones that allow RV parking, which was in Camp and RV.
Yeah, crazy. So if you have some suggestions, you can go ahead and put them in there, and we will see. Okay, well, did you learn something? I know I did. Warren says he's thinking about a Pixel XL. He's not going to go for one of those $59 ones.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Android phones on Walmart's Straight Talk service use the what network?
Android phones on Straight Talk are Verizon.
And what do the iPhones use?
iPhones are AT&T.
A phone with only 8 gigabytes of internal storage is plenty for normal usage. True or false?
True or false, or
Yeah.
No.
That is pretty funny.
It is not enough. 16 should be, and 32 definitely.
And they just cost more money. Google Voice can provide a phone number for multiple phones. True or false?
True.
Absolutely. That's what we use.
They can also provide multiple numbers for one phone.
Right.
So if you want a business.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. All right. A phone using Walmart's prepaid Straight Talk service can be a hotspot. True or false?
I don't know if it's true for all of them, but it certainly is for the one that I got. Yes, it can be a hotspot.
Okay. An inexpensive prepaid phone can be used for A, a second phone, B, a grandkid, C, a main phone, D, a hotspot, or E, all of the above.
All four of those are my ideas for what you can use an inexpensive phone for.
I agree. A bunch of other things just popped up on the chat here. Oh, what's the web page that lists all of our weekly shows, Chris?
geeksontour.com, and the menu item is weekly class.
And the web page that lists all of our recent newsletters.
geeksontour.com, the menu is blogs and news. Newsletters is under there.
Okay, and the benefits you get by joining Geeks on Tour, becoming a member.
Our complete learning library of prepared tutorial videos, asking us questions in the member Q&A, the show notes for these shows, and discounts on products and services, and 7 ebooks, including Mrs. Geek's Guide to Google Photos.
Cool. And we invite you to become a member. Just go to our website, geeksontour.com, and click on the link to become a member. Let's get some of these questions first. My comments. Okay. Google Chromebook. Bill wants to know. Bill or Karen? What about the Google Chromebook?
Chromebooks are like laptops. Chromebooks are laptops. And we did an episode on them a few months ago. I love the Chromebooks. I'd kind of like to get the newest one, but that one's not a cheap thing.
Yeah, I want one with
But Chromebooks are laptops.
Right. So June says our village shows elks that have parking, and the database is growing, right, because it's used in the all stays.
Okay.
Laverne says Google Voice doesn't work on Pixel according to my phone. Google Voice.
Well, Pixel is native Google Voice.
Well, only if you're using Project Fi.
Oh.
Something we'll have to look into.
Yeah, Jim's Pixel phone is also using the Google.
I missed one. Laverne says on Project Fi, didn't finish. Well, it is using a Google Voice number. If you got a Project Fi phone, as I did, it is definitely a Google Voice number that you got when you purchased it. You may have ported over another. We'll still have to look at it. We'll talk later, Laverne.
I say Google Voice can get complicated.
It can very much get complicated. So next time, we'll probably not have a live show next week.
We don't know where we're going to be.
And we might not have bandwidth. I'm happy that we had the bandwidth to do it this week.
Yeah.
So the next live show topic will be one of these: Facebook basics, photos, maps, blogs, or miscellaneous. And we're trying to do a rotation.
Today was a miscellaneous.
Today was a miscellaneous. Sorry. Yeah. Watch for the posting the show notes on Wednesday at thebuttonshow.com, and follow up at Facebook Live Q&A on Thursday. And that should be fun.
Facebook Live, 5 o'clock our time, Thursdays, just for whatever.
And we're in Central Time right now. So if you have an idea for a topic, you can use the suggestion box at thebuttonshow.com. Well, that's it for this week. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And we're Geeks on Tour.
Keep pushing those buttons.
Okay.
What's this button do?
Stop pushing that button.
What does this button do?
Don't push that button.
What
We're
does
going to
this
go off.
button